like if you've been paying close attention, you see that the MLS and the NFL is starting to enhance their relationship. There was one video I did where I stated that I alluded to something like, in order for, if the MLS really want to grow in popularity, it should treat the NFL as a partner more than a competitor. Because I believe that in order for you to be the best, you have to learn from the best. I know there's a saying that in order to be the best, you have to beat the best. But I think in this case for the MLS, when it comes to the NFL, I don't think that the MLS should view the NFL as a competitor. I believe it should view the NFL as a business partner, because the NFL in itself is imploding. I believe a couple years ago, or maybe it was like 10 or 7 years ago or something like that. It was a while back, but NBA owner Mark Cuban of the Dallas Mavericks, he publicly stated that, he stated that that he sees an implosion taking place in the NFL. He didn't really say when it was going to happen, but he said he alluded to that he can see like an implosion taking place in the NFL soon. And when he first said that, I don't think a lot of people took him serious. And I was one of those guys who didn't take him serious either. Ever since this past decade, with the multiple controversies from CTE to domestic violent cases on multiple players, and then you had the Colin Kaepernick saga or the drama. Then you had former President Donald Trump verbally abusing the mothers of NFL players. All of that is coming to fruition now, and it could be the source of a potential implosion. It could be, all of those things could be one of the reasons why the sport is not as popular as it once was. It could be a reason why people are choosing to do something else on a Sunday afternoon rather than sit in front of a TV screen or sit at a stadium or watch a game off of their mobile phones. People are now looking for other things to do. So I believe as a result of that, as a result of a slow self-destruction that's taking place in the NFL, I believe that the MLS doesn't really have to do much to kill the popularity of the NFL, because the NFL is killing itself. Another thing that's going to cause NFL implosion are these new billion-dollar stadiums. The fact that NFL owners are reluctant to pay and finance these stadiums on their own, that a lot of them want state funding and taxpayer money to pay for these stadiums. It's a bad look for the NFL, and it's going to cause more people to stop supporting its league. So that's the fact that the NFL is imploding, that it's self-destructing, is a reason why I believe that the MLS doesn't really have to view the NFL as a fierce competitor. There is nothing that the MLS have to do to the NFL in order for the NFL to decline in popularity. The NFL is going to kill itself, similar to how Major League Baseball is killing itself, similar to how the NBA is killing itself. But I will get more into those other leagues and how and the NFL self-destructing on its own in another monologue. In this monologue, I really want to talk about how the MLS and the NFL relationship continues to grow. So this month, like around on April 14th, a historic announcement was made in Los Angeles that SoFi Stadium, home of the LA Rams NFL stadium, it's like I believe it's like a 70 to 80,000 seat stadium, but it's hosting a Liga MX MLS matchup. It's a doubleheader. It's gonna be LA Galaxy, LAFC. That's from the MLS side, and the Liga MX teams are Deportivo Guadalajara and Club America. And this is going to be the first ever traditional football game, or in other words, soccer, that is taking place at SoFi Stadium. So this is going to serve as a preview of the Leagues Cup that started in 2023. And if you don't know by now, the Leagues Cup is basically going to be a tournament between all MLS teams and all Liga MX teams. Even though that's set to happen, soccer is still not a popular sport in America, but it's still growing. In order for the MLS to grow to the level of popularity as the NFL, NBA, and MLB, it has to learn from the best. And this is a sign of a relationship that's starting to grow together, that's going to help the MLS and is going to help the NFL. It will help the MLS in terms of exposure. It'll be soccer fans, traditional football fans, watching a soccer game at an NFL stadium. But because it's played at an NFL stadium, you're going to get the attention of NFL fans who may be curious as to why is this game being played at an NFL stadium to begin with, when you already have 2 MLS stadiums within the city. So that curiosity is going to draw NFL fans to watch the game, even if they just watch it for 5 minutes, even if they just watch the highlights. It's just that curiosity factor that's going to draw NFL fans who are not so biased into one sport, but they're open-minded and willing to learn about another sport. Here's some other examples of the NFL. Here are some other examples of the MLS and the NFL enhancing their relationship. On Monday, like in preparation for their CONCACAF Champions League's title match against Puma Unam, the Seattle Sounders released a promo on Twitter featuring former NFL star running back Marshawn Lynch. And basically it was like a hype commercial just to get the Sounders fans excited. However, actually, I take the back. I don't even think that was only to get the Sounders fans excited, because the Sounders fans are already excited. I think this was to get the whole city of Seattle as a whole to support the team. And the Sounders playing in this championship game against Puma Unam, I really believe that this is good for the city, based on them being sad that they lost Russell Wilson in the trade. I think this is an opportunity for NFL fans, Seattle Seahawks fans, who are on the fence when it comes to traditional football, when it comes to soccer. When I say on the fence, like, they're not fans, but at the same time, they don't dislike the sport. There's a little interest and they want to learn more about it. So, they watch the highlights, or they watch a little bit of the game. Not the whole game, but maybe like the first half or the second half, just to get an idea of what's it about. I think this CONCACAF championship game with the Sounders and Puma Unam is gonna help Seattle NFL fans who are on the fence about MLS, to hop over that fence and start supporting the Sounders, who is one of the most prestigious, historic American soccer team. Another example of the NFL and the MLS enhancing its relationship. It was announced today that NFL running back Derrick Henry of the Tennessee Titans joined their ownership group. And this comes on the same week that the team is playing its first game at its new stadium. I believe it's called Geodis Stadium. So the relationship between the MLS and the NFL is growing, and it's going to continue to grow. Traditional football games being housed at NFL stadiums draw more revenue for the league. There is no doubt in my mind that the MLS is going to make a lot of money from this SoFi game in LA. There's no doubt that the NFL is going to make a lot of money. And there's no doubt that Liga MX is going to make a lot of money. And there's no doubt that U.S. soccer is going to make a lot of money. The soccer economy is growing. And the MLS and American soccer in general being in partnership with the NFL. It's gonna help the sport in general make more money. And as the sport in general makes more money, more resources will be poured into not only MLS clubs, but also USL clubs. Not only USL clubs, but collegiate clubs, high school clubs, Little League park clubs. So this game, this League Cup preview at Lo-Fi Stadium is bigger than the MLS. It's way bigger than Liga MX. It's bigger than the NFL. This is about the soccer economy. The NFL in general is a league that is big on maximizing its profit. So them hosting global soccer games at their stadium, I think that's going to become more common. In the next couple years, you're going to see more NFL owners hosting international and global games at their stadium, because NFL owners, there are people that are constantly trying to find ways to make money, especially in the off season. You know, there's not much on-field activity that goes on during the NFL season. During the NFL off season. So soccer events, traditional football events, I think that's a new source of income that they're definitely going to tap into. MLS, the NFL is not your enemy. The NFL is not your competitor. The NFL is your business partner. MLS, you are going in the right direction. You're taking a step in the right direction by working with the NFL. When it comes to professional sports allies, I believe that the National Football League is the greatest professional sports ally that you can have in order to grow your league. This SoFi Stadium game between the LA teams and the two Liga MX teams, this is a good idea. I truly believe you're gonna benefit off of this. MLS, the NFL is slowly but surely imploding. We may not see it now, I know it's hard to see it now. A lot of people don't believe that the NFL is imploding, but it is slowly but surely imploding. There is nothing you have to do, MLS, to cause the NFL to lose popularity. There's nothing you have to do to force yourself to become more popular than the NFL. NFL owners know that their game is declining in popularity. This is why they're so quick to make so many rule changes every year. The NFL wasn't always like this. The NFL wasn't always making so many rule changes every offseason. Now all of a sudden they're starting to make rule changes just about every offseason. There's a reason behind that. MLS, all you have to do is just focus on your vision. And the NFL is going to help you, because you, MLS, you, USL, you, NWSL, you are the Bitcoin of American sports. And the NFL knows that. You see, the thing about investors, the thing about billionaires, they always look to see what's the next big thing. And when it comes to sports in America, soccer is the next big thing. Traditional football is the next big thing. This is not only about the 2026 World Cup. However, the 2026 World Cup is going to boost your popularity in this country. The 2020 decade is the golden era of American soccer, of American traditional football. MLS, all you have to do is just continue to enhance your partnership with the NFL. There is nothing you have to do to try to destroy it. Just stick to your vision, because they're supporting your vision. Because when you make money and as you grow MLS, they stay in business. All you have to do is support your vision, and whenever the NFL is in on-season mode, you're on off-season mode. Meaning, whenever the NFL's regular season is taking place, MLS, you're on off season. Whenever the NFL is on off season, when no regular season games are taking place, MLS, you are on season. There's no doubt in my mind that you could compete with the NBA, the MLB, and the NHL. There's no doubt in my mind. Could you compete with the NFL during the same time? Maybe. But that's not the point. You want to enhance your relationship with the NFL because the NFL is the strongest professional sports ally you can have in this country. You enhance that relationship by having a clean partnership with them. When they're on the on season, you are on off season. Now, I know that Thanksgiving playoff game is something that you cherish. What if there's a possibility that Thanksgiving game will turn into the MLS Cup title game? The very last game of the MLS regular season and playoffs combined. Because one thing you don't want to do, MLS, you don't want to look like a competitor to the biggest ally that you have in this country. Once you start to look like a competitor to your biggest ally, you lose support from your biggest ally who has more clout, who has more popularity at the moment, who has more close contacts with politicians and people in power that will help you grow. Because with their connections, MLS, with the people and the sources they have, they will provide it to you, MLS, as long as you're not viewed as a competitor. MLS, continue to enhance your partnership with the NFL and you will grow.